I would like to believe that if we have a freer society, it will take care of blacks and whites and everybody equally, because we're all individuals, and to me that is so important. But if we had equal justice under the law, I think it would be a big improvement. If we had probably a repeal of most of the federal laws on drugs and the unfairness on how blacks are treated with these drug laws, it would be a tremendous improvement.
Congressman Paul.
A system designed to protect individual liberty will have no punishments for any group and no privileges. Today, I think inner city folks and minorities are punished unfairly in the war on drugs. For instance, blacks make up 14% of those who use drugs, yet 36% of those arrested are blacks, and it ends up that 63% of those who finally end up in prison are blacks. This has to change. We don't have to have more courts and more prisons. We need to repeal the whole war on drugs. It isn't working. We have already spent over $400 billion since the early 70s, and it's a wasted money. Prohibition didn't work. Prohibition on drugs doesn't work. So we need to come to our senses, and absolutely, it's a disease. We don't treat alcoholics like this. This is a disease, and we should orient ourselves to this. That is one way you could have equal justice under the law.
Thank you, Congressman. The next question will be...
Congressman Paul's support has gradually been slipping for the death penalty among all Americans. The Pew Forum on Religion in Public Life reports a large majority of whites still support capital punishment, while blacks and Latinos do not. Now, I know this is mostly a state function, but the president does appoint appellate judges and, of course, the highest appellate judges in the land, the Supreme Court justices who often review death penalty cases. Do you think the death penalty is carried out justly in the United States? And do you want to see it continued during your presidency?
30 seconds, Congressman.
You know, over the years, I've held pretty rigid to all my beliefs, but I've changed my opinion about the death penalty. For federal purposes, I no longer believe in the death penalty. I believe it has been issued unjustly. If you're rich, you get away with it. If you're poor and you're from the inner city, you're more likely to be prosecuted and convicted. And today, with the DNA evidence, there's been too many mistakes, so I am now opposed to the federal death penalty.
Thank you, Congressman. Senator Brownback.
One thing that I love about him, that I don't know, he teaches me new things that I didn't even know exist. You know what I mean? One thing, he got into, what was it? The war on drugs, which is something that I never really understood, but I most definitely have a big interest in, simply because I grew up in the projects. My mother was a heroin addict. I grew up with nothing but crack addicts and stuff like that. And I heard of, you know, the crack epidemic, how all of a sudden a rush of drugs has come into, you know, the ghetto. I just think that he can be our only chance at some real change. Not just, I don't know, trying to kiss up to the system, but changing the system. And I understand, like I said, that the president isn't the person that is just going to change this. This has to be us that has to work for this. And this is the reason why I love Ron Paul supporters, because they really, really fight for this man. And I don't know, I kind of want to talk about that in a way that every person I ever met that was a Ron Paul supporter were kick-ass people, and that fucking ride for this man, because he has ideas that can most definitely put us in a better situation when it comes to society. We can most definitely move towards peace if we had this man and as our president. And I think that some people are just afraid of change. We are afraid of visionaries. We are afraid of this simply because we are comfortable, and we believe that we have to have this government, you know, beating us down, and that's not what we need. There are a lot of things about Ron Paul that I should be talking about. God damn. You know what? I'm tired of the whole politicking talk, so I'm going to try to get into something else, but I will get back on Ron Paul. So your homework is, if you are watching me and if you like anything that I have to say about Ron Paul, look at him for yourself and feel the energy that I feel with him, and you will most definitely see and know something in him that isn't in Barack or Hillary. Alright, so check him out. Ron Paul, the man with 2 first names. Yes, check him out.